Hello, I'd like to share a planting trick I haven't seen anywhere else, which I found useful for plants that don't have enough root mass to keep them in the substrate. I've just received a batch of Vesuvius swords that are just like this. As you can see here, the roots are largely non-existent to completely non-existent. These swords like this, as you probably know, don't do well if you shove the crown down into the substrate. It'll just rot and the plant will die. So these plants would be very close to impossible to plant without this trick. About all I could do is weigh them down, put them on the substrate, and hope. But what I'm going to do is give them some artificial roots. It might not save the whole batch, but it should save most of them. So I'm going to make the roots from ordinary cotton gauze. This cotton gauze I got from a major U.S. pharmacy chain. It is sold as roll bandage. It is 100% cotton. It has nothing on it, no chemicals of any kind on it. So nothing that will bother the tank. So what we do, and it does need to be cotton, as you can see. It doesn't need to be a pad, a roll, I mean. As you can see, this is actually made up of woven threads. It's not a pad stuck together or anything like that. So what we're going to start with is cutting a length off. And this, how wide you cut it is going to contribute to the final size of your planting patches. So once you've got that cut off, what we're going to do is completely unfold it all the way down to a single layer. Just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of working it apart. This one may take a little bit of cutting some strings too. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. I think I opened it on the wrong end, but that's okay. All right, so once we get it down to the single layer, which as you can see here, well, let me do this one because I messed up that end. There we are. Once you get it down to your single layer, you're going to want to cut it. Again, the size that you are going to want to end up with here is going to depend on the plants you have and your tank and how deep your substrate, that kind of thing. So we get it down to a single layer, and you can see it's a very, very thin, very loosely woven cloth. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take it and wrap it. You can wrap it around just the roots if you have a little bit of root like this does, or even if you have like this one, all you've really got is the crown. You can wrap it a little higher. Just wrap it around that, and it will kind of stick to itself because it's kind of got a little bit of a Velcro effect. So once we get down to this part, we'll just twist that. Okay, so now what we have here is a plant that is wrapped. The cotton gauze will hold to itself, and the substrate will also kind of squeeze it around the plant, kind of squeeze it into its rolled state. We now have a root, artificial root, that we can plant without worrying about breaking it, and it will hold it into the substrate. It will not keep roots from growing out through the very thin cloth. It will, so it'll provide a good anchor without inhibiting the plant's growth. And it will, eventually, the cotton will just rot away in the tank. It won't be a problem. Cotton threads have been used to tie plants to trees and rocks for a long time. So this really is just an extension of that. So anyway, there's not a whole lot else to do but plant this, which I am not going to do because there are plenty of videos about that. I hope this has been useful to someone. Thank you.